Good morning, everyone. Just to note that the first part of the class, we're going to do sitting in Vajrasan, which is with our knees bent in front. And if that's not comfortable, then a chair is a perfect place. So just grab a chair and bring it to you if you're not comfortable on the floor with your knees underneath you. Namaste. Good morning. Welcome to class. So today is the fifth element. Today we're going to move into the most subtle of the five elements, which is ether, space, akash. So just to be thinking about that throughout the first part of the practice. I'll remind you during the practice, but our focus is on akash, space, the space in which all of creation happens. Okay? So finding your comfortable seat, and you can start in any seat that you like, sitting in a chair, anywhere you'd like, just doing an invocation. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Let your head bow slightly and rest your thumbs along your sternum. Relax your hands. Feel the pressure of the fingertips and the palms. Notice the space between the palms, in the middle. That little vacuum that's created there. And then bringing your attention into the space of the body. Space in each cell, space in each organ, space in entrance and orifices of the body. Just thinking of the body and space. Thinking of the space immediately around you. And then extending your space out through the ether element into other participants of the class. Just touching in. Thinking of the names you may have seen when you first came on. Reaching past the barriers of space and time into space. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. Special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So take a moment. What do you need this morning for self-transformation? Find an intention for your practice. And then letting that thought slip out of your mind down into your heart. We'll bring it back at the end of class. And join me for one resounding Om, representing the beginning, the end, and everything in between. Exhaling the breath out and inhaling to chant. Letting your eyes flutter open and just taking your hands out beside for a moment. Just reach and yawn. Just let the body open. Wiggle your wrists in both directions. Just move to the other side. Just taking up a lot of space around you. Just up and down with the arms for a moment. Just touch the mat, touch each hand, touch the mat, touch the hand, touch the mat. Good. And then we're going to come into what I mentioned at the beginning of class. So we're going to come in sitting on our legs. It's even more comfortable if you take a pillow, tuck it in behind your knees, and sit on the pillow, okay? So whichever way you have your seat, or even in a chair. I'm going to show it first in a chair, just so that those of you who have knee issues know that you can still do this whole little series we're going to do in a chair. So when I am doing my upward reaching and my lower reaching and my upward reaching and my lower reaching. If you have any low back issues, instead of putting your arms there, start with your arms here, lean forward, push up, and then arms up. So you're using the fulcrum of your arms, not your low back, to push up, straighten the arms, and then up, okay? And then when we go into the little rotation part, you're just moving one leg at a time away. But it should be easier on your knees. Okay? And the rest of us are on the floor, sitting back on our heels with a pillow tucked in or not. Okay? Whichever way is most comfortable for you. Great. So we're thinking about angels as we come up, making snow angels with no snow. And as we exhale, making little turtles. Tuck the head in, crown of the head can touch the floor, and coming up. If it doesn't feel good to have the crown of the head touch the floor, just look forward. So turtles to snow angels. Taking up lots of space around the body. If you begin to feel a little dizzy, just slow it down. Two more. Good. And then bring the hands into the heart. And then we're going to externally rotate our left leg. My bowl is in the wrong spot today. Good. Put the knee out. So just extend the leg out. Knee is extended. Toes are pointing up toward the ceiling for a moment. So it's externally rotated and toes are facing up. Good. Come up for a moment. So we're thinking gate pose. So we're opening the gate and closing the gate. And opening the gate and closing the gate. Last one, all the way up. Good, and now bend the knee, place the knee right over the ankle if you can. Good, open the arms wide. So a kneeling version of a warrior two with the upper body. Breathing. And then on your next inhale, let's bring the arms up. Good, bring the hands into the heart. And then just lean a little bit away until you get a nice open V on the left side. Nice open V. Don't collapse into the right side, just leaning. And then coming back up. Good. And release the leg. Great. Now right leg, extend it out. Toes are pointed up towards you. Good. We're going to do the gate first. Great. So inhale, open the gate, exhale, close the gate. Inhale, open the gate, exhale, close the gate. One more. Good. All righty. Nice and tall, hands into the heart. And then just bring in your right leg, stack the knee over the ankle. Good. And then taking our warrior two upper body, gazing out over your extended right fingers. Relax your shoulders down, lift the pelvic floor up. Make sure your belly is engaged, pulling back to the spine. Bringing the head back into neutral. Let's take the arms up overhead. Good. And then release the arms and just lean a little bit over to the left, creating a nice open V on the right side. Don't collapse into the left side. Good. And then coming up, all the way up with the arms. Bring the hands down into the heart and release the leg. Okay? And now a few more turtles to angels. Okay? Up and down. Take it really slowly. Move as if you were going through molasses. One more. And then relax your shoulders. Let them just melt close to your knees. Relax the arms along the floor. Relax your head, forehead on the floor. Just breathe for a moment and try to take the breath into the back body, into the space between the shoulder blades. And then on your next inhale, place your hands underneath your shoulders, Good. Press the floor away as you straighten your arms. Coming up, sitting back again in Vajrasana. Good. And then we're going to swish our legs, both legs over to the right. Just swish both legs over to the right. Both feet over to the right. So the knees are headed to the left. That's giving us our bull pose. But right now, we're not so worried about our right sit bone coming up. It can come up. Go ahead and put your left hand on the floor. Good. Get it right underneath your shoulder if you can. So that when you come up and come into a side angle, a kneeling side angle, you're comfortable. Side angle with the torso. The legs are deeply flexed. And down. And up. Don't roll the hip further up than it needs to be. Keep it in line and down. So no arching of the right hip, no arching over, just coming into a nice diagonal line and down. And one more. Up and down. Good. And then we're going to take a little twist over to the right side. Just holding on to your right leg with your left arm. Don't pull into the twist. Just firm yourself up into the twist. Keep your head as much as you can close to your sternum. And once you realize your torso is in the maximum twist it's going to have, take your chin out over your right shoulder. Gaze past your right shoulder. Gaze back behind you. And then slowly walk your chin out over your left shoulder, nice and slowly. And we're going to release the pose. Just let go. Good. And just lean back on your sit bones and swish your legs over to the other side. Good. Okay. And now right arm is on the floor. And we're just going to come up, okay? Come up, find that side angle diagonal line, not push up into an arch. And release, and up, and release, and up, and release, and one more, and up, reach, and release. Good. So you're firmly on your right sit bone. Your left sit bone can be up a little bit. Just pull up your torso. Keep your low back, keep your belly stable, and then pull up your ribs as you inhale and resist against. Just taking your twist over to the left side. Using your right arm gently, just to firm yourself up, twisting to the right, twisting to the left, sorry. And then on your next, put your chin over your sternum, right in the middle. And once you're solid there, take your chin out over your left shoulder. Pause. Next, inhale, draw your chin slowly over your right shoulder. Pause. Lift the pelvic floor, belly is engaged, low back is safe, not twisting in the low back. And then on our next exhale, we'll release the twist, release the neck, release everything. Good. And then let's come into Vajrasana with the soles of the feet together for a moment. And make a nice big diamond. So a really big diamond in front. Just hold on to the back of the knees for a moment. And pull the toes apart, create big arches in between the feet. So there's a big space there. Toes are pulling apart from each other. Balls of the foot are firmly connected. And you see a really big arch in your feet. Good. Just holding it, pressing, little pinky toe especially. Pinky toe, big toe, all the ball of the foot is pressing into each other. Good. And then slowly reduce the size of your diamond. Just maybe 2 V's, holding on as much as you feel comfortable, as close as you've got them. Good. And then taking the knees together. And then slowly, we're going to come up, okay? So coming up onto the ball of the foot, nice and slow, toe balance. Resting your hands, they can stay on the floor. That's perfectly fine. Hands on the floor, hands on the thighs, hands at the heart. You can even take your hands up overhead, wherever you'd like to be in this toe balance. And then let's challenge ourselves and see if we can stay on the ball of the foot as we come upright. Let's see if you can stay on the ball of the foot. Still there. Walk around a little. We're going to massage the adrenal glands, massage the kidneys. The adrenals are just sitting on top. Prissier you get, the more you massage. You can touch back where your kidneys are back there. Feel how you're massaging the low ribs. Good. And then lower the heels. Perfect. Let's find our standing Shavasana. Just letting the bones have you for a moment. Relax your pelvic floor, relax your belly, shoulders, jaw, relax. Let the breath occupy wherever it wants to go. And notice how that pranic energy can go anywhere outside of the lungs. If you need it in your knee, take it to your knee. If you need it in your arm, take it to your arm. Breathe and send the pranic energy into any spot of your body that needs a little more oomph. Good. And then on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Okay? So we're going to spread our legs apart into Upavista Konasana. And I want us to think about the space again. You know, the anatomical position of arms spread out. I want us to spread out and make ourselves into five pieces of a starfish, our head and our 4 limbs. Okay? So get nice and open for a moment. And then I'm going to show you the starfish from the side. So you can see that the starfish doesn't bend at the waist. The starfish is going to bend at the hip. So just let me show you for one moment. Here's my starfish. Pelvic floor is in, belly is in, stable, everything's stable. Okay? So then when I get ready to bend, I'm headed over from the hip. I'm not headed from the waist. So that when I move from side to side, my low back is not compromised. I'm long in the spine, okay? So nice wide stance, arms are up. This is the only effort right now, keeping those arms up. Make sure your heels are out enough to support you behind your second and third toe. No knees in at all. No feet in. Good. And so we're just going to go over and up 4 times. Over and up. Over and up. Hinging just at the hip. And then let's bring our arms out to shoulder height. Good. So this is something we probably did in those few who are as old as I am. We did this in PE. It was just like a little, I don't know what it was called, okay? We just reached over and came back. And reached over and came back. You can touch the shin, the ankle, the toe, wherever you want to go. But make sure you're moving from your hip socket and not your waist. This time when you go to the right, stay there. See what you can hold on to the right side and let your right arm drift over toward your left leg. Just looking at your ankle. Keep your neck long. Spread the sit bones. And then come back into neutral with your spine. Press up. Good. Arms out again. And now head it over to the left side. Good. Let your left arm just kind of reach over somewhere or past your sacrum. Just let it be. Open up the left shoulder. Press into your heels and spread your sit bones. Good. And then on your next exhale, come back up. Arms to shoulder height. Good. Lift the pelvic floor. Belly is in. And then reduce the space. Still, now our knees and our feet can go to the side. We're going to come down toward goddess. Make sure your knees are over your ankles, not anywhere else. And straighten a few times. Knees over ankles. Look and see. Don't let your knees roll in. They need to be back over your ankles. And straighten. Open. And straighten. Good. And open. And straighten. Now let's take the toes front and forward. Good. And then heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Till you come into your Tadasana. Good. Lift the pelvic floor, belly in. Get situated with your muscular energy before you relax. Relax muscle to bone. Pelvic floor can relax, belly can relax, jaw can relax. Good. And on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. So here in Guatemala, we have this really weird tree called chipilín, and it does all kinds of weird things with its limbs. And so we're going to do as weird a limb tree as you can imagine, okay? You've got a chair. If you want to just bring it right next to you and use it to keep you stable, because very seldom do we ask anybody to go like it's crazy as you can go, okay? But that's what I'm asking, because I want you to take up as much space as you can with your tree, okay? Let's shift the weight to the right leg. Begin to peel up the left heel. You can always keep that leg planted wherever you'd like. pull in the right hip. Don't sink down and let that right hip go out. Pull in the right hip. Good. And then think about your arms being any way you might like, big, okay? But they can be weird, okay? And then think about your left leg. And you can just play with it. You can kickstand it. You can do anything you want. Just make your big tree. Pull in that right hip. Don't sink into the right hip. You'll be sorry. Breathe. Check your breath. Smooth it out. And on your next exhale, get as big as you possibly can with your body. And come back into neutral. Good. Okay. Now let's shift the weight over to the left side. Begin to peel up the right heel. Externally rotate the right leg. Keep the kickstand, or you can bring it up later, whatever you want to do. And one side may be very different than the other side. This tree never necessarily looks the same, okay? So pull in that left hip. No sinking down and pressing the left hip into the side. Really engage whole of the left side. And then make your branches, wherever you want your branches to be. And then if you're ready, add your leg. You can always keep it kickstanding. Breathe, smooth out the breath. It's okay to sway. Trees sway. They aren't static. And on your next exhale, get big, really big, and come back into neutral. Good. Close your eyes, take a few breaths. Relax your pelvic floor, your belly, your shoulders, your jaw. Kind of zigzag through the trunk of the body. Make sure there's no tension. Good, and then on your next inhale, eyes fluttering open. Great, we're just going to go apart for just another moment, thinking a little bit more about how much space we can occupy. Externally rotating the left leg. Leaning, finding that lean there, creating a right angle with your torso and your leg. So as much of a right angle as you can create. And the back leg and the body making a Tadasana if you can. Good. Don't dump into your left arm. Let the left bottom be as tall as the right top. Don't drop in. Good. So bringing the arms up and then taking the arms down. Taking the arms up and down. One more. Good. And then just letting the arms be for a moment. Slowly bend your left knee. And then I want you to roll up your right heel and come into the side. Good. Press up, release it, come back with both legs front and forward. Just that little space working with the hip. Go ahead and externally rotate the right leg. Lean. Trying to create a right angle with our right leg and our trunk. Not dumping into your shoulder. Getting as much of a Tadasana as you can over on your left side. Good. Bottom is equally as long as the top. And we're going to experiment with that. Ready? Arms up and lower. Arms up and lower. Arms up and lower. One more. Arms up and lower. Good. And then slowly bend your right knee. With much mindfulness, sweep your left hip over toward the right side. You can be in a warrior one modification or flag pose, but we're just using the hip. And come back, unrotate, and find your Tadasana. Good, just relaxing for a moment. Smooth out the breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, evening them out or making the exhale a little longer. Good, and on your next inhale, letting the eyes flutter open, we're going to go down into a deep squat, Apanavayu, stimulating that downward flow, bringing your elbows inside your legs. Good, just be there for a moment, letting that downward flow happen. And then go ahead and put your left hand on the floor and open up to the right. Your left shoulder is opening up by pressing against your left knee. And then come back into neutral. Placing your right hand on the floor. Sweep open. All happening in the thoracic spine. Low back is not in it. And come back into neutral. Good. And then place your hands on the floor behind you and help yourself take a seat. Be up on the top of your sit bones for a moment. Bring your knees together. Big toes touching, heels apart. And then squeeze the knees together with your arms. Relax the groin. Breathe. Good. And then we're going to extend out the right leg. Bring the left sole of the foot against the right thigh. And if you need a block or something underneath that knee to give it stability, it should not be hanging in space. It should be either put firmly on the floor or on a block, whichever way is most comfortable for you. And you're sitting up on your sit bones. So Janu Shirshasana. Janu is knee, Shira is your head, okay? So we're not talking about lengthening out, we're talking about curling in. So I'm going to do this pose initially by rowing out for a moment. I'm going to row out 4 times, just hinging at the hip. And then once I have rowed my maximum rowing, I'm going to relax my hands down to the floor, close to my trunk, close to my body. And then I'm going to begin to exhale, pull the belly to the spine and curl. Pause and inhale into the back body. Exhale, curling. I want you to create an energy link, an energy loop from the crown of the head to the knee to the crown of the head. They do not need to touch. Even here is fine, but we're arching the back, pulling the chin into the chest, creating that energy loop. Breathe. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. Flex your right foot. Keep the right foot fully flexed, toes toward the ceiling, heel firmly on the floor. Bend your right knee a little if you'd like, taking any tension out of the hamstring. See if you can surrender just a tiny bit more toward the knee. And then on your next inhale, peel your chin off the chest, look out past the toes, neck in alignment with the spine. Then using your hands, press into the floor, straighten your arms as you push the body up, right. Good. And then extend out the left leg to meet the right. Going to do it kind of in the middle, alrighty? Halfway between front and side. Great. So now we're going to pull in the right leg, sole of the foot firmly into the thigh. If you need a block underneath your knee to keep it stable, put it there. Sitting up on top of both sit bones. You might need to move a little flesh out of the way to give you a solid seat. You can bend your left knee a little just to get the pressure out. Make sure your heel is on the floor and toes are flexed and pointing up toward the ceiling. So we're going to take rowing 4 times. Okay, let's take the arms up. Hold on to the oar, okay? Row and back. Over and back. Over and back. And over. And then place your hands on the floor. Get them close to the trunk of your body. As close as you can on either side of the extended leg. Good. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, belly to spine and begin to curl. Inhale, pause, breathe into the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, curl a little more. Arching the spine into a very tight little ball, occupying as little space as you can. Breathing. On your next exhale, see if you can surrender a little bit more, creating that energy loop, Janu Shira. And then on your next inhale, begin to peel the chin off the chest. Look out past your extended left toes. And then press into the hands evenly to push yourself up and away from the floor. All the way up. And then extend out the right leg, finding Dandasana, staff pose. Good. Just finding Dandasana. You can keep a slight bend to the knees, especially if you have tight hamstrings, taking them out of the equation. And then we're going to go into Paschimottanasana, westward stretch. And again, you can keep a slight bend in your knees. If you have tight hamstrings, go ahead and just grab your block and put it underneath your knees. You can even put 2 blocks side by side underneath the knees. Just letting that not win the war. So the war will be won by your quadratus lumborum instead of your hamstrings, okay? Good. So the same principle of oaring. Don't go too far. A little bit over and back. 2. Let the shoulders work, not the low back. In this 4th time, when you go over, release your hands to the floor, bring them somewhere close to the trunk of the body, close to your hips. Good. Continue to take the sternum toward the knees. Good. And then slowly begin to pull in the belly, pull in the chest, curl the body. Curl the body. Westward stretch. Round spine. Sitting on top of your sit bones. Chin is tucked in. Back of the neck is long. Front of the neck is very compressed. Pull in the belly, pull in the belly. Lift the pelvic floor. Smooth out your breath. Press fully into your hands or fingers and begin to peel the chin off the chest, looking forward. Once you have your head as in alignment with the spine, use pushing into the fingers or the hands to bring yourself upright. Good, nice, tall spine. If you have a block, move it out of the way. We're going to do reverse table. So just walking your feet down to the floor, so feet are firmly on the floor, still far away, because when we stack our knees, we want them over the ankle, okay? Hands are down and exhale. Good, just a few breaths. And hips to the floor, good. So this is the time of the practice for your inversion, spending a minute or two there if you'd like. If you want to do bridge pose, if you'd like to do a half inversion, that would be mountain pose, often called downward facing dog. You are welcome to do legs up the wall. If you are not inverting, legs up the wall with your bottom on the floor is a perfect pose. And if you still would like the support of the wall, just take your block, and if you can invert, put it there and create just a nice diagonal line for the body. So wherever you would like to take your inversion, come there. You shouldn't be inverting if you have glaucoma, eye pressure problems, if you're on the first few days of your menstrual cycle, if you have any uncontrolled blood pressure issues, high or low, don't invert. Put your bottom on the floor and your feet on the wall. Keep your head looking at the ceiling if you're on the floor, just so that you don't compromise the arteries. No need to look around. And then as you're ready, coming out of your inversion, if you need a counter pose, if you need to rest for a moment in child's pose, whatever you need to do, take it. And then finding your Shavasana, finding your corpse pose, not feeling relegated to your mat. You can go beyond your mat, you can feel like a starfish, wherever you want to be, hands below the heart. If you have on glasses, this is the perfect time to remove them. Rest. Surrender. Babaji says this is the hardest, the most challenging of every pose that exists. Just giving it up. This little taste of death, corpse pose at the end of the practice. Learning to surrender. Just imagining awakening from a deep sleep. Thinking about perhaps taking an overhead stretch or shrinking in as you wake up the senses. Roll your eyes, move your tongue in your mouth, wiggle your ears, your nose, spread your fingers, feel the skin, feel the warmth or the cold of the floor, the room. Slowly begin to make your way over onto one side, curled up in embryo pose. Just being there. And then on your next inhale, taking your upper arm, placing the hand on the floor, and then exhale, begin to push up. And then inhale as you begin to stack your head on top of your spine. And then finding a comfortable seat. Being still for a moment, just letting asana work. Body, breath, mind. Letting the muscles relax to the floor as your spine lifts toward the ceiling. Like a shoot growing out of Mother Earth. The earth is solid, reaching down, and the spine is growing tendrils toward the sky. Relax your jaw. Relax your breath. No control for a moment. Just feeling the difference of pranayama and pranayama, not controlling the pranic energy. And then beginning to control the pranic energy by exhaling belly to spine. Release the belly muscles and the inhale coming into the belly. Exhale, belly to spine. Don't let it climb up into the chest, just using the diaphragm. Release the belly, breath comes in. Don't let it climb. Exhale, belly to spine. Use the muscles, use your abdominal muscles. Pull the belly to the spine. Get to the bottom of that and release the belly. Let the breath come in. You may even feel a little whoosh as the breath comes in. Breathing only through the nose, heating, filtering the air as it comes in. Don't let it climb. Push the muscles. Use it. Push the breath out, belly to spine. Relax the belly muscles. Let the breath come in. Continuing on for a few more moments with abdominal breathing. Bringing online the parasympathetic nervous system, calming body, mind. Couple more abdominal breaths. And then on your next exhale, pulling the belly back to the spine, pulling it back firmly, firmly. Keep it there. Inhale into the chest as you spread the ribs side to side. And then exhale, let the ribs recoil, keep the belly in. You can do a little tug at the bottom if you'd like, or just leave it alone. Keep the belly stable. Inhale, chest. Exhale. Ribs recoil, getting as small as they are. Inhale, belly. Inhale, chest. Good. Inhale, chest. Don't let it climb too high up under the clavicles because that activates the sympathetic. Just keeping it low, as if you had on a sports bra, and that's where the breath stays. Continue with a few more chest breaths. Good. And then falling back into your natural breathing pattern. Great. So we're going to combine those two movements, the abdominal inhale with the chest inhale, but there's only one inhale. So all you're really going to do is relax the abdominal muscles so the diaphragm drops, creating more space in your thoracic cavity. And then you pull that breath in through the lungs, increasing the size of the chest cavity, okay? So let's try a couple together. Exhale the breath all the way out, belly to spine. Release the belly muscles, start the inhale, and then pull that same inhale up into the chest. Feel the chest move side to side, growing, growing, growing. Pause at the top. Exhale, let the breath out. Chest recoils. Very bottom, a little tug into the belly to make sure it's all out. Then release the belly muscles, breath comes in, and then pull that breath into the chest area, letting the chest expand, 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 expand. Pause. Exhale, lungs recoiling as the rib cage reduces in size all the way. A little tug to the belly at the end. Then release the belly and begin again. Good. Okay. So just fall into your natural breath pattern. I'm going to count that for you, okay? So it's going to be super controlled. You might be uncomfortable with it. See if you can go with the flow. If not, just go at your own pace, okay? So we're going to divide the breath. The inhale, we're going to divide it into two parts. We're going to inhale belly, chest, exhale. Okay, so there's a nice long exhale. And you just keep squeezing, squeezing slowly. So don't start with a big old exhale at the beginning. Pace the exhale as you're letting the rib cage recoil and then the belly tuck in. And then you start again. Belly, chest. Okay, here we go. Inhale, belly, chest, exhale. Inhale, belly, chest, exhale. Inhale, belly, chest, exhale. Inhale, belly, chest, exhale. Fall back into your natural breathing pattern. Relax belly, chest, face, shoulders, everything. We're going to move into our meditation slowly. So make sure your seat is comfortable. As little movement as possible, please. Using the mudra of Akash, ether element, touching the tip of the thumb to the tip of the middle finger. Tip of the thumb to the tip of the middle finger, and resting your hands on the backs of the hands on the thighs. The bija mantra, hum, hum, hum. Repeating it silently to yourself tethering, space, akash, space in the body, space outside of the body. Hum, 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 hum. Letting the mind remember space inside and out. Hum, hum, hum. Hum, 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 hum. Releasing the mudra, releasing the mantra, coming back into the breath, to the body. Slowly bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Remembering your intention. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our very diligent practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. So remembering your intention, remembering anyone who needs a little special offering this morning, letting those thoughts slip out of your mind down into your heart, from your heart symbolically into the palms of your hands, and then just lift them up and let them go off into the universe, bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. I'm coming to you. I'll be right there. There's a kitty cat in my chair. You're very welcome, Antonia. Thank you, darling. Okay. I think I totally forgot to even mute you today, so I think everybody should be totally fine to unmute yourself. You are. You're all great. Okay. Any questions? Any comments about the practice itself? Anything that we did today that you want to think about, chat about, ask about? Let me get you where I can see you all in your beautiful self. Good. Anything about the practice? So today was our last day of the 5 elements. Not that we're not going to ever do them again, but it was the last day of Akash and space. Did you feel spacious when you brought your attention to it? Could you send the pran to other areas of your body? How was that feeling for you? Jean, you want to comment too?
Yeah, I did feel that. I was kind of surprised. Was actually easy. So I was about ready to put a lot of effort into it, and then it just kind of happened.
Excellent,
So,
excellent, excellent. That's great news. Because, you know, we think of pran and we think of energy and we think of the breath and we think of sending that pran to places in the body. Babaji's quote is, where the mind goes, pran goes. Where pran goes, the mind goes, right? So it's really, it's so important for us to realize that we have extra energy to send to these different beautiful spots in our body, you know, amazing. Jana.
Yeah, after we did the tree, which was so playful and like helped release a lot of tension in me. It made me giggle and laugh. But after that, yeah, after that when we did a little bit of external rotation in our hips, I really felt like the awareness of the space there, and it felt subtle but really, really nice and open and flowy. Felt like released stuff further. It was really nice.
Well, you know, sometimes tree pose can have such it can be so tense, you know, it just kind of like, it's so hard, although it looks easy, right? And so we put all that effort into it and muscular energy into it, when really it's just good to see what we can do, you know, with movement that's not so static, you know, it's soft movement, if that makes any sense. I wish I'm going to take a picture someday of the chippy lean trees in my yard so you guys can see that they're like, ah! Yeah. And they have a million branches and they all head in totally different directions. There's nothing uniform about those trees, not a uniform thing about them. So, yeah. So how was the moving into the yogic breath? Was that smooth for people today? How did it feel? Were you frustrated when I started counting? No? Counting was good? Oh, good, good. Because sometimes it's like, I don't want to be counted. I don't want to count. I like the counting personally. I like to see if I can, because it's, you know, pranayama. It's yama. Yam is controlling the pran. So like, you know, if you tell me how to control it, I'll try and control it. And just kind of check it out and see what's happening. Yeah.
I have a question, Ginger.
Yes, Jean.
I think you had told us once that downward dog is a weight-bearing exercise. And I'm wondering if, I don't know what you call this, lying when you do bridge, but you have your feet up in the air. Would that be considered weight-bearing as well?
It is weight-bearing on a different place, but yes, if you get one leg at a time up in the air.
I meant two. I lay on the block and put my legs up in the air.
Oh, Viparit Karni Mudra. Yeah. It's not so much, honestly.
No.
That's the breath. That's the very best posture in the world for relaxing the vayus and getting them back into their own spot, right? Because it turns our whole body upside down, and naturally the 3 bandhas are applied just because of the pressure of gravity. So it's not quite, you don't have to engage the muscles there. I have 0 engaged. I have just the bones balancing in my.
Yeah. So tree would be weight bearing then.
Tree is weight bearing,
Okay.
one at a time. Most poses are weight bearing, but when you want to just stay static for a while, like lifting, like the joy of lifting weights and the static part of it, that's why mountain pose or downward facing dog is so healthy. You can go out to bridge, you can go out to plank and then come back and go back to child's pose and come back. And when you're up, your muscles are really having to hug the bone on all 4 limbs. So because where we usually break ourselves is in the hips, it's really good to like keep those hips with that weight bearing down, and then go into plank, engage the hips more, go back, coming in and out of plank to mountain is really healthy for weight bearing.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm just reminded of it because I had a bone scan yesterday. What a density. I don't have the results, but I just had it yesterday. I don't think it's an issue, but I was just wondering.
Yeah. Well, it's been an issue for me for about 20 years. And the doctor said something smart alecky about the medicine working. And I said, the medicine is why I went to the emergency room. I have been doing asana now for a year.
Well, the medicine prevents the natural process of your bone.
Yeah, you should. I lost my sense of smell with that because it closed off the cribriform plate, which is the smallest holes and openings. So I lost my smell completely for probably about 5 years, and then it started coming back as bone started deteriorating where it had overgrown. I never needed it, but the idiot doctor never really knew Ayurveda to know about my nails were hard, my hair is tons of it. I have healthy teeth. It's like, if I have that's the upadhatu of bone. So obviously I have okay bones. So, but the doctor just, menopause, because I had a hysterectomy at 29. So early menopause, this, that, and just gave me that medicine. And I, as an idiot, didn't know any Ayurveda back then, and took it for 3 days, ended up in the emergency room, which is what I thought was a heart attack, and it happened to be a gastric issue from the medicine. And now I know why people call it heartburn. They're all in the same spot. But that was my scary experience, and I lost my sense of smell after 3 days of the medicine. Only took it 3 days.
I had taken that for about maybe 3 weeks, and then thought I really never read any like what this does. So I read it and immediately stopped taking it because that's not truly, that isn't building bone, that's depleting your bones.
It's destroying the cells that help to destroy the bad bone, right? There are good cells. So that's the perfect segue. I told Priska she should come. She's one of our Ayurvedic yoga therapists, and she needs a few more clients for her externship. And I said, just come to class and see if there's anybody in class who wants to do a consult. So Priska, why don't you write in the chat how they could contact you as well. There's Priska. Say something, Priska. You can talk.
She's muted.
She can unmute.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
So exciting to see you.
Yes. Hi.
Sylvia's a regular in class, so you'll have to, you guys will have to be in touch.
Yes.
That's cool. We did the yoga teacher training together. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few more spots left on my externships for the Ayurveda yoga therapy program. So if you would like to work with me, either lifestyle, diet, yoga, pranayama, anything in sort of that field to make it individualized to your body, to your person, we can do that.
So you
it will-
get Priska, and then you get me or Donna supervising her. So what more could you possibly want?
Do we
That's
email
great.
you?
Yes, I'll put my email into the chat here. It's
Okay.
the priska@mountmadonna.org.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I was going to do the Priska Ayurveda. Yeah, priska@mountmadonna.org. That's the easiest.
That one will be easier. Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope some of you will take advantage of that because it's really good for those of us who are yogis and practicing yoga to go to a yoga therapist, which is what you would have just gone to your guru in the past, right? And gotten something that was really for you in the moment. So it takes into account your age, it takes into account the climate and the season that we're in. And in tailoring your practice, it's really, really for you. And if you do a lot of pranayama or if you do a lot of meditation, it's good to tell the practitioner exactly what it is you do, because maybe what you're doing is wrong. Maybe what you're doing is aggravating you every day. Maybe you're doing practice with retention and you haven't really learned how to retain the breath. You're applying the locks incorrectly. So it's really good to work with someone that can guide you and knows the practices and knows, like I work with a lot of people who hold their breath and they hold it way high, way up in here. And that's just aggravating their sympathetic nervous system. So then when they get ready to meditate, their mind is not quiet. But that's why, because where they were holding their breath was way too high in the body. So that, that kind of specificity to your practice and seeing you work and do, it's really good to work with someone to do that. And then if you're doing someone like an intern, like Priska, then you get her ability, you get the yoga therapist on top of that, who's her supervisor, and then everybody gets to, it's a win-win.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you, Mamata. I'm glad you enjoyed the meditation. So hung, that higher vibrating in the whole of the head region, to me is so powerful when you get to that hung, just like feeling it back there. And you can say it out loud to yourself and you can sort of feel that vibration moving in that area. And of course, the little lightness of the mudra. I'm glad you liked it.
Kamalesh, I wanted to say something that I very enjoy, and it was like when you were saying, when we were at different moments, like take space. First, we started with the thinking of the space between the hands, then inside the body, which make a really nice connection. But then during the exercises, take about the space, I don't know, it made me feel usually when I do the yoga practice is like about the constriction more, the control, and it was like about, I don't know, expansion. It just felt different. It was a really nice twist that I enjoy very much in the body.
Excellent. I don't know who I told yesterday, but someone I told yesterday that I hope that today's ether class, and Laurel, I may have told your group that I hope today's ether class would make people be like Hanuman, where he was little and then he got really big. Because, Hanuman just grew in size till he was enormous. And if you can really kind of get in with that space element, all of a sudden you don't feel so limited. You don't feel limited to your body. You feel like, oh, I can continue on, right? I can take up my house. I can take up my village, So yeah, it's great. It's really great. It's great to have these practices. So on Thursday, we're going to put all 5 elements together. I'm going to give a little bit more time to the meditation because we're going to do a 5-element meditation with all 5 mudras, okay? So just be ready for it. So rather than 5 minutes of meditation, we're going to do at least 10 minutes of meditation. So you get to spend 2 minutes feeling the mudra, feeling the mantra, and just being with it, okay? And we'll talk about all 5 elements and how they complement one another. All righty, so have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and I hope to see you on Thursday morning.